To this day, we've been divorced for 14 years. She made that statement and told me if I did, she gonna report me to the police. I hate to say this, for child pornography. And I said, based on what? Because you take pictures. And I said, I don't do nothing with children, ever. She says, do you think the police will matter? Do you think it's gonna matter when you go looking for a job and they pull that up that you are caught as suspicious of this? I said, you are supposed to be looking out for my well-being, and I've always looked out for yours. And this is how you want to treat me because you don't want me seeing the kids I raised for these 10 plus years that's calling me daddy, and they come to me for these things. And man, what could I do?
Yeah.
Stop. But today, and I'm saying this because to this day, she got a relationship with my kids, and I have zero with hers because I don't do that. I'm like, why would I say something like that? You legitimately have a relationship. Just because you and I didn't work out, they ain't got nothing.
What's going on, everybody? It is the Iron Father. It's Dev. I'm coming at you with my boys again. Well, let me say the men again. So we got a show lined up for y'all today, hitting on some topics. One is going to be just kind of a random topic. And the second one is going to be, well, we'll say a little bit more deep and personal for what a lot of guys who are 50 and over are going through out here as they move either into a divorce or they are divorcing or post-divorce, as they now have to kind of reshuffle their lives. And again, I call that the recalibrate phase, where they have to figure out how they're going to do things. And that doesn't mean just, of course, on their bodies, but also in their family life. And we're going to jump more on that in a moment. Now, let me start out by saying, of course, if you want to get your body together, definitely contact me. I think that is the first vital thing that you have to do. So please reach out at joinironfather@gmail.com. You'll definitely hit me up on IG as well, The Iron Father. I'll go ahead and take care of you. And even if you just want to go ahead and get some workout tips, you can DM me or just leave a message in the comment section of this video. I have a free PDF that I will give you. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. You also don't have to pay anything for likes either. I'm not charging y'all for likes, so feel free to like the video as well. But I will give you a free video, or excuse me, a free PDF on how to build nice arms after 50. Now, look, we know that training is more than, just working your arms. But I know a lot of you, the only reason you want to go get to the gym is because now you over 50, you watching your arms begin to sag like kind of that Bugs Bunny cartoon when it was like, wah, wah, wah. You don't want that. So you'll go to the gym to work your arms. And if that's where we have to start for you to go ahead and start working the rest of your body and get tight, so be it. And I'll give you that free PDF for you to get started. All right, now let's get started with this show. So what's up, fellas? Derek, you were on first. Go ahead and you'll give you a little greeting intro and then
hello. Just Derek here, just giving some as we say, some raw topics off the cuff and just going from there. I'm here again. Love to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Eddie.
Here it is, Eddie Vance once again. Hey, supporting Devo Dev that supported me for all those years, and I like that you're supporting everybody else by getting their health together because we got to stick around a lot longer.
For real. Thank you, man. Thank both of y'all, man. I appreciate y'all being on here. And you're right, man. We gotta stick around a lot longer because you always talk about the number of summers that we have left, and that gets kind of scary. That gets real scary when you count summers. It is August. This summer is over. And I'm like, man, I'm 55. That's 20 more summers, 19 to be exact. It's like, man, that's kind of scary. So I am going to start this. We're going to call this our first segment. I'm going to hit y'all with a surprise topic. Now, before we get to our serious topic, again, guys, we're going to talk some serious stuff. And this is serious for a lot of you as well. But I want to go ahead and catch these dudes off the cuff on things that I read, I come across. Thankfully, props to my brother because he sends me some great things that he reads. And this one actually was funny. And I'm going to ask you gentlemen about it. Let's see if we can help this guy. This guy posted online. He said, well, let me give some backdrop. I won't read the whole long message, but a woman was saying that basically her husband doesn't want to go down on her anymore. And he was kind of complaining about that. And so a guy wrote in and said, I also went down let me key point. She said her husband doesn't want to go down on her, but other guys certainly didn't mind going down there. And right there, the look of you on your face, there we go. So that is key because then someone responded and said, I also went down every time. Not long after we got married, the BJ stopped, even though I kept going down on her. I asked her, and she said, quote, BJs are for trapping a man into marriage, end quote. She also quoted the Sex and the City line, quote, why do you think they call it a job? Or something like that. So let's start with Derek, you showed up first. Let's start with you. How would you help this man out that he feels that, certainly his wife pulled out all the great favors, and I know a lot of guys are about to be divorced or they're thinking about getting divorced. That's the dynamic they're used to having in a relationship. What would you tell a guy like that? Let's say he's over 50 and he's kind of dealing with that dynamic now.
Okay, you had two scenarios. One where the wife said he won't go down, and then one where he said that the husband don't get BJs. Which one are we talking about?
We're talking about the second one. That was a response to the first comment. That's why he said I went down. So he was letting her, yeah, I was one of those guys that did go down on my wife, but she sounded like she wasn't returning the favor too much on him. So
okay, so
that was why I said
he's not getting BJs from his wife.
Correct. But
well, the couple, and so how would you respond to that?
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I left out a key part.
Oh, okay.
I left out a very key part. Oh, this is definitely on the fly. Somebody said, oh man, how did you react to that? He said, I dealt with it for many years, then caught her cheating, and one of the texts from one of the new guys was praising her oral techniques.
Okay, well,
Oh boy.
I mean that's an obvious one. She clearly has lost interest in him, and she's using him for some other reason, and it clearly isn't the sexual one. That's why she's out there dipping and dapping, and other folks have been doing it for her and taking care of things. And so, as she says, that's how you trap them. So she's looking to trap somebody else, and he's on the out, and he doesn't realize it, but he should know it anyway because she's cheating and so forth. So he might as well go ahead and write that ticket and say it's time to check out.
All right, Eddie, what say you?
Anytime a woman's not willing to do that, you're not willing to do that to that woman, that means that relationship will turn into something sour. Literally and figuratively. That means either something sour down there or something something is going on that's sour, and that means either you need to wash it away or run away. There are certain stipulations in a relationship that you got to have. And I'm sorry, BJ is one of my top 5. I held him number 1, but I'm gonna say top 5. Hey, that's just something you gotta have, man. If you don't have that, that means that woman really doesn't want to be bothered with you.
Yeah, and absolutely. But I mean, even at that, she's getting it from somewhere else. So there's a compounded issue. It's not like, oh well, he doesn't know she's cheating. And he just said, oh, she just stopped. Because to Eddie's point, I would have said, well, you need to ask, does it smell all right to you? Do I need to put some kind of lotion down there? Are you cleaning yourself? Because it could be a hygiene thing. But it doesn't even matter. She's done, she done checked out a couple of different times with other folks. Yeah, he ain't on the menu anymore.
Exactly. That's the whole point I was trying to make. Once you get past the hygiene part of it, then you start diving into something else. She's just not into you. And that's one of the things that a woman, when she's into you, she does that.
Especially if she has already done it. I don't do that. She started off that way. That's different. But if you done hooked up to BJ and all of a sudden you're like, I don't do that no more. It's against my religion. No, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I asked the question, because the last time when we were meeting, I thought we really did a good job. I didn't even plan on talking about rejection. And one thing that I'm noticing, a lot of guys, especially in that 50 and above range, they have dealt with rejection in their marriage for so long. And I'm not just talking about the typical rejection that obviously I think every guy may feel, but it's also that rejection that a lot of married men have we joke around that happens in the bedroom. So that's usually one of them. I mean, it's like, we make it even a part of the culture. Well, when do BJ stop? When the ring goes on. I mean, you hear all of those things. When she says I do, that really means I'm not anymore. I don't. And so we even joke around like, well, that's something that should be expected when you get into either marriage or committed relationship. And, I certainly don't think that guys should expect that. If there is any time that you get to press the reset button, now it is that time in your life where you can press it and say, it's not going to be that way in my upcoming relationships. It's not going to work out like that. And I think a lot of dudes, especially depending on when they got married, they might have got with their little high school sweetheart, maybe in their 20s. They both feeling each other out. They learned some things and they went through that cycle where, sure enough, it was the typical thing where she stopped doing some things in the bedroom because y'all got married. Now, the question I have for you guys is, what pattern do you want to now set for this next point in your life, for the next woman that you deal with? And how will you make sure you don't get into that trap all over again? Because if you don't change it, I guarantee you will.
Having standards. Those are some of the things we talked about before, is especially if you're just getting out of a divorce or a relationship, you want to say, you know what didn't work versus what did work. One of the things I even, when I'm quote unquote interviewing a prospect, hey, what 3 things would you change or say you want in this next relationship going forward that you may or may not have gotten, but you want more of it now? And then and go from there, because hey, you got to set them standards, and now that's what you'd have to live by. I'm looking for this, this, and this. At least 3. Top 5 will work too, and go from there.
Man, that's a good question. Let me ask you that. Let's expound on that for one moment. When you ask women that, how many of them are really able to answer that?
I would say probably 80%,
Really?
a good number of them, because they and even they'll say, that's a good question. It'll take them a second, but if you believe it or not, they have it right on the tip, because they know that's why they left, because they didn't get it. So they just go ahead and materialize it or speak it out loud, and then it becomes a reality for them. And then they're like, you know what? Yeah, I think it's this, 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 and this. Or they'll say, these are the 3 things that created the problem. So these are the 3 things that I need to have more secure and more bona fide, if you will, and go from there.
Eddie, you have something?
I just want to say 80% to me, in my experience, is a low high. With my experience, it seems like they don't know what they want. They just see what they want. Mm-hmm. And they want to try to portray that and and get after that, but that's not really what they want. Because I come across a lot of them that really have no idea of what happiness and peacefulness really is.
Yeah.
So it's like you're asking a child that's never rode a bike before to ride a bike with no training wheels.
That's a very good point. Very good point.
Oh, go ahead, dear.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, you know what, Ed, when I think about that, you're absolutely right. About 80% answers the question, but as the conversations went on, you come to find out that maybe 40% stuck with the answers initially. And then to your point, you know what? Yeah, but then when you go back, like, well, you said, but now it's something different. Well, very, very good point. They can answer it because they're so fresh and that's what they think it is. But then when reality hits, it ain't that. No. Very good point. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's right. You hit on right on that one. That's right.
That's what I was thinking myself when I have asked that type of question. I think I like what you said too. I could probably say maybe half, if that, would probably be able to answer it. And you can tell they had either given it some thought, or we'll say it wasn't something that they just put on a dating profile. It's almost like when they put the wish list of, my ex-husband wouldn't want to travel, so now I want to travel, like we talked about before. The ones that have really given it some thought, which is real strange because most of the ladies they actually exited their marriage. Their husbands didn't leave them. So it's kind of strange that it's almost like, why did you quit a job? Well, because they wasn't paying me enough. Well, was that really the reason? Then you come to find out, well, no, I didn't get along with this coworker. I didn't like being treated this way. And it's funny the same way. Why did you leave your marriage? And then, like, I love that. That's a great series of questions, Derek, because I'm finding when I ask something like that, it's like, well, because he did such and such and such and such. Okay. And then we get into the, well, what did you do? And and those guys, and what do you want to change in your
Respond to
next
that.
one? And it's like, well, I just know I don't want to go through that again. Well, that's not really an answer, you know?
Yeah.
Who else wants to go to hell?
Right.
I don't want to go through hell. Yeah, nobody wants to go through that again.
Right. Right. And I would hope we wouldn't, or we didn't learn anything over 10, 20, 30 years of marriage. So hopefully you wouldn't have to. So, all right, good stuff, y'all. All right. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm always coming up with things that just baffle me, but I think that's the good part about the internet these days. People will write in, and I was there myself when I wrote in asking questions, and there were guys that helped me out a ton. So if that was your question, we ain't making fun of you. If anything, I think as you're going to hear, as we've talked about even on other shows, there is life that's better on the other side. And a lot of you guys are scared that the girl you have now, let me be respectful, the woman you have now, and now actually some of y'all are still married to girls. Because they might be a woman in age, but
Yeah.
that woman is still 20 in her mind. And
Oh, or
she's
less
still
than
treating,
that, 17.
see, I was trying to make her legal. No,
She ain't even legal.
Hey, but still had that same illegal mentality.
Oh,
yes. And a lot of times that is that mentality. I'm gonna just get on back out here. And it's like, and again, you run across women that say that. It's like, what are you, 18 getting ready to graduate and go to college again? What do they call it? Hot girl summer nowadays? I mean, it's the same kind of mentality. And we know dudes have it as well. But again, if you over 50 and you about to get back out here, you can't be that guy. You cannot be that guy. All right. So now today's topic, let's jump into the meat. One of the hardest things that keeps guys, and I know how it was for me, staying in a marriage. And again, I'm not an advocate saying everybody should jump out of a marriage. I'm trying to talk to you about where you're at. But one of the main reasons why people stay is for the kids. So, guys, today I want to ask, what advice would you give to that guy who we're gonna go through our three phases as always. The guy that is either about to be divorced because maybe his wife is like, you know what, this is over. And I don't think we're gonna make it. Maybe he's cheating, maybe she's cheating, whatever. Or maybe he's just, I'm planning my exit strategy. Then we got the guy who's going through divorce right now. Paperwork is filed, and then we got the guy who is divorced. What advice, Ed, we're gonna start with you on this one. What advice would you give that guy? Because the main reason he's always probably even delayed getting divorced is for the kids. And how many men have said, I'm gonna stay until the kids are 18? I know I was one. So, but before I ever tell anything about me, what words of wisdom would you have for the guy that may be in each one of those phases? Or we can just start out. We'll just start out. What would you say to the guy who is at the pre-divorce stage?
Once you see your kids getting upset by your relationship, you have to stand by the choices that you made by choosing that woman to be their mother, but you don't want to set them up to see a toxic type of relationship because it's systemic. It's going to go on and keep going on and on because they see you doing that with their mother and they think they get in a relationship and they're supposed to do that with their significant other. And that's not the case. So to me, my opinion, the real thing you should do for the kids is get out of that toxic relationship and show them what a peaceful life is supposed to be. Because the more you stay in that relationship, you're not helping them. You're just there being miserable. They see how you're angry and you're upset and you're not being respected or you're not getting the things that you need to maintain the household. So they just see all of that, and that's not doing anything for the kids. So if you really want to do something for the kids, this is my part. Guys don't want to change. They get used to something, and it's hard for them to leave, and they use the kids as an excuse. You can't use them as an excuse. That's your legacy that you leave behind. So what you want to leave behind is some positive energy, not all of that arguing, fussing, and fighting, and even not even talking can be negative. Even the energy in the room. So I think, like you said, I'm not saying everybody get out and run away and everything like that you can't work it out. But for your kids to see that type of stuff is not anything good for them.
All right, Derek, how about you?
Yeah, I'm along the same lines as Eddie. It's a matter of, first and foremost, you can't be in any situation that you yourself are not happy. If you're not happy, it doesn't matter what you do after that. Your results thereafter is going to show whether you're happy or not. You can't fake the funk, is what I'm getting at. Kids are very smart, very intuitive. They can see various things. Now, here's the catch. It also makes a difference how old your kids are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, how if they're so young, they're not going to even understand it, whatever. As if the kids are a little older, sometimes even having, and I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but sometimes even having a conversation or attempting to have a conversation to resolve issues in front of them shows how you are working towards making it better. And then when it doesn't, well, I remember when dad was trying to talk to you, mama, you walked away, or vice versa. This ain't just the men, but we talking about men. It goes both ways for sure. But showing them at a certain age what you should do in situations, don't just walk away. Make the attempt to make it better, but you also have to know at a certain point, I'm a firm believer. It takes two to make a marriage work. It takes one to make it fail. Period. I don't care what nobody. It takes let a man hit you several times and see what happens, or let a woman hit you several times, or put you down in front of their girlfriend. Oh, he ain't did this and he ain't done that. I'm just saying it takes one to make it fail, but put the effort in, and nobody needs toxicity. We talked about that peace sandwich. That's gonna always be the foundation here.
Yes.
You gotta have that peace.
All right.
Kids need that peace too.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm going to throw, as we go along, I'm going to throw out some statistics here, statistics as, we just go through various questions. And this one, a great divorce. And a great divorce is really considered a divorce that a person has when they're around 50 years old. In 1990, only about 8.7% of U.S. divorces occurred among people aged 50 and older. By 2019, this figure rose sharply to 36%. And among 65 plus, divorce rates have tripled since 1990. So everybody who thinks that, as I say, I'm going to count victories in the first quarter, meaning in your first 5 years of marriage, just like, hey, we ain't never getting divorced. 10 years, well, we ain't never getting divorced. We've been married 15 years. I'm talking to people that have been married over 30 years. They getting divorced. And so to think that even with your kids, that it's never going to happen, you better even watch what you say in front of your kids, because that may not necessarily be reality. And then when we get to custody disparities, naturally mothers are granted custody about 65% of cases, while fathers receive about 35%. And then another source shows that 80% of custodial parents are mothers, with fathers making up just 20%. That's huge, because we're going to talk about, for those who don't know, and I realize a lot of people don't even understand what difference does it make between custodial and non-custodial. Believe me, when you go to court, you're going to learn there's a huge difference between custodial and non-custodial. And we're going to go there in a moment. But first, let me just add in to that first part. And that is, I'm learning that a lot depends on if your parents were divorced. In my case, my parents weren't divorced. So I didn't even have that model. So it was easier for me to say, I'm going to stay together because my parents never divorced, no matter what they went through. Well, that had to get shifted real fast on, like what you said, Derek, and even what you implied, Eddie. Well, what about my happiness? What about my life? Only get one. At least in my belief, you only get one. I don't get a chance to be like, all right, next time I'm going to stay married for my kids on this life. But in my next one, I'm going to do it actually. It doesn't work that way. And then what I found too, and I'm still getting people that will just say are more critical of my divorce because they say, well, basically you should be together for the kids. And what's funny is I don't have any children. All of my children are grown. So I don't, as I say, I ain't out there dick policing my kids. I ain't calling up my girls being like, hey, who's staying at your house? Or how we do it, who's staying at your house? I wish I would do that to my daughter, because the first thing she would say, well, Daddy, I'm grown. Or I wish I would do that to my son. Why that girl over? He'd be like, well, Daddy, I'm grown. But it's funny that Daddy ain't allowed to be grown. And so there, when you say how old are the kids, that is a very key thing. And for the dude that I think that's saying, I'm going to wait until maybe my kids get older, or he's just totally going to take his piece and put that on the back burner, I think that you better really, really think long and hard, especially if your kids are older. And then we also have to look at the severity of your marriage too. I think that's fair, because if some things can be worked out and y'all can keep the family together, then by all means do so. Don't be like many women. Well, I'm just not happy because she ain't giving me BJ's anymore. Well, that might not be a reason to go file for divorce. And now because what you're going to find is just like the dude in that Reddit post, she's going to be giving other dudes BJ's and your daughter will be at the house. She's going to be giving another dude BJ's and your kids are at the crib by themselves while she's out. So in that case, you might want to stay around the house if it ain't that bad. But, anything else y'all got to add?
Right.
Let's still continue on.
I'm sorry. You were asking the question?
Yeah, y'all can go ahead and pick it up. Pick it up.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say I'm a different type of animal because Devin, growing up with you and everything, I've seen your parents and everything, and my parents split up at an early age when I was younger, and when that happened, I went with the one that gave me the most peace. And the one that was mostly responsible for me, which was my mother. Even though my father was there, he taught me a lot of things and stuff like that. But just being there with them going through their issues and all of that type of stuff, it made me pick a side. And a lot of parents make their children pick a side. So when I end up splitting up with my ex-wife, I didn't do that with my son. I didn't want him to pick a side. I didn't want him to be in the middle of it. And I tried my best to stop that, but it's nothing you really can do to change their perception of what's going on, but be peaceful and calm. Because they only remember the yells and the blow-ups and all of that type of stuff. They don't remember the calm working it out and all of that type of stuff. So you have to instill that in them. And I don't know. It's hard for me to talk about that stuff because I don't want to put my mother's and father's business out there.
Yeah, well, you know what? And you got some good points there. But for me, my parents stayed together for the sake of us. And when we turned 18, that's when the divorce occurred. And I had both parents, but to be honest, my father wasn't there. He was off doing his own thing, and my mom was always there. I mean, I can recall being in a relationship for at least 9 months where she showed up, my girlfriend at the time would show up, and she was like, "Did your daddy live here? How do you be around for 9 months and don't see my dad?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he'll show up sooner or later, mostly later, but it is what it is." He was the disciplinarian. Well, Dad, you ain't never here. If you were here, you would see blah, 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 blah. But it's like, you know what? It is what it is. I always thought y'all should have gotten the divorce a lot sooner. Don't stay around for our sake. We good. Good.
Man, it's so funny you said that because I've said the same thing. And that's why I even think that parents who say you should stay together because we stay together for our kids kind of thing, or I wish my parents wouldn't have gotten divorced. Well, first of all, if you're a grown man still saying, I wish my parents would have gotten divorced, would not have gotten divorced. My question for you is, are you still a child? Are you speaking out that 10 or 12-year-old self that I still want mommy and daddy together? Because you're still thinking that y'all would have had a whole Bill Cosby existence if if your family would have been intact. But was that really the reality that you were living with? Or did you forget maybe some things? Because they could have been fighting and it not have been in front of y'all. You don't necessarily know what could have happened. And then I know my parents certainly stayed together. That was a huge part of the kids. And I laugh when you said that because, my high school girlfriend was kind of the same thing. She was like, I don't really remember your father around that much. Because he wasn't. And it was, it was like, yeah, that is true. Girls knew my mother, but they didn't really know my dad. And, even though he was still a presence in my life, but, dad wasn't around. So the girls didn't know, which, to keep it 100, that got me in even more trouble because my dad wasn't around. So again, if you that married guy and y'all may already be checked out, because even if you married and your wife is living her life and you live in your life, the question is, what do you think the kids are seeing anyway? If you think that they are applauding, like, but I'm still so glad my mommy and daddy together, that may not necessarily be the case.
Right.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna talk about. Okay, I'm gonna bring up my mom and stepdad because they have a beautiful relationship. So we're talking about people over 50 starting over again. My
Mm.
mom and stepdad were the ones that started over again. My stepdad came in, he swooped in, took my mother out of the state, gave her peace, happiness. I've never seen her smile so much and
Mm.
be so happy than with him. Now, my dad, yeah, they had their good times and everything like that, but it was mostly, like you said, he wasn't there. He was off either working or doing his own thing, or Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Right, right. That's right.
So uh, I've seen what it can be, and they're 197 years old, and they still partying and dancing
Yeah.
and having a great time together. And so that's why that gives me hope to know that it's peace, and that peace sandwich is out there, and I want to take a bite.
I know
Good.
that's right. I know that's
Good.
right.
All right, so let me throw this, because I will say this is y'all chime in. I'm gonna tell you the advice that I've given some guys who are at that pre-divorce stage. If you already know you're going to probably be filing for divorce, or you see the marriage is deteriorating, one of the big problems that guys have is that they are not that invested. Because we just talked about dads not being around. A lot of times it's not that Papa is being a Rolling Stone. Sometimes, look, dad's just out there grinding, or for you dads that always look, well, that's the woman's job. It's the woman's job to go to parent teachers conference. It's the woman's job to go ahead and make sure you go school shopping. It's the woman's job to go ahead and take them to the doctors. Okay, I'm just going to warn you, when you're going to be in court and you think, when she says, I want custodial, I want to be the custodial parent, and I want him to pay X amount in child support, and you're going to be all huffy and puffy, it's going to be an open and shut argument, because all the judge has to ask you, okay, well, are you going to be able to take the kids to the doctors? And really, she's going to bring that up. Well, he doesn't know the kids' doctors. He's never met their teachers. He doesn't know what's going on in their life. He doesn't know what shoe size they wear. He doesn't. Now,
Right.
is no way in the world you're going to win that argument. And that's a choice that you have made for yourself, falling into a trap. So you need to start preparing for that now. Be more involved with your kids' schooling. Be more involved with your kids going to the doctors. The day-to-day things of your kid's life you should be doing, but I understand a lot of guys aren't, because it's, again, traditionally we do better than our fathers did. Let me say that. But if you don't do that now, you better start, because it is going to come back and bite you in the butt, and you're going to be all mad, huffy and puffy about it.
For sure, for sure. I mean, a lot of times, like you said, it's up to the mom. But we talked about the traditionalist aspect of things too, where moms did this and mom did that, or they were always at home kind of situation. But at this point, it's a give and take. Let's say everybody's working and they're bringing in the same amount of money. Okay, then why would it be necessarily her responsibility to go do it?
Yes.
Why can't it be yours? And here's the thing: you get a divorce, the kids with you is 100% yours.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you got to do it anyway. You might as well get accustomed to it. And plus, they're your kids.
Facts.
So,
Yes.
So yeah, I want to touch on that because I was one of those guys. I'm part of that 20%, that 35%, that 20%. Me and my wife separated, I had full custody of my son. These were during the
Amen.
middle school time. That means I'm doing science projects. I'm there, parent teachers conference, pick up, drop off, all of that type of stuff. So it's hard for me to understand about they going through the court and paying child support, because during that time I was just starting my business off, and she was making way more money than me, way more money. I went to the front of the course. They told me I'm a man. I need to get 2 jobs to make sure I support them. I never got one dime of child support. Not one nothing. And I was there with boots on the ground running, doing everything to make sure my son came out to be a proper man, which he is now, and I'm so proud of him.
Yes, indeed. I mean, I'm the same way. I been through the divorce thing a time or two or whatever. So I raised my oldest son, to your point, since he was about 10 years old. And when I was my last divorce, my ex-wife, she had 4 kids. We didn't have any. I had 2. I was raising one, and the other one was back and forth half the week. So we had a total of 8 kids. And when we talk about, I run a tight ship. I had,
Yes, sir.
everybody had a color on the calendar. What's your color?
Yes, sir.
What we doing
Yes,
today?
sir.
We're going to run this down. They had priorities. What's your priority? School, home, work, playtime.
Yep.
Oh, I want to go so-and-so. Run down the list. Did you do this, and this? It became so ritualistic. It's like, what am I going to ask you? Boom, 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 boom. What's the answer? If you got a no in there, you know what you need to do. I don't have to say nothing. That's how I roll. And I had the agreement with the other baby daddies. We was cool. We talked about it. I said, my kids at your house, put your hands on them if you want to, because they deserve it. And we had the same conversation. My kids act up in front of you, you got permission to put your hands on them. My man. That's how we roll. That's old school. It worked.
Wow.
You know,
wow.
So that's how it worked out.
Hey, that check, and like you said about the checklist, hey, I run down the rules. During that time when I split up with her, I was with a woman that had another child. They were going to the same school. He didn't want to get his lazy behind up out the bed. My son was there sitting by the car when I got up to take him to school. I'm not about to go drop my son off, come back and drop you off because you wasn't ready when the car rolled. So there's nothing for me to talk about.
Oh,
so, that's why I love what you said, because they used to call me nothing to talk about. I have nothing to say.
Dude,
what you done speaks so loud, I can't say anything.
How interesting is it that when we have our own rules that have worked, then we go into another situation with a woman that don't have rules.
Oh, really? All on the front porch.
Dude, listen. When I was in the 9th grade, I had to get a full-time job and carry all my expenses for the school. 9th grade.
Yes, sir.
I tried to implement that, man. You thought hell froze over. No. I was like, wait a minute. You got to teach these kids responsibilities. You know, at a certain age, they have to start knowing what needs are, what wants are. There's a difference. You want that. You don't need that. There's a huge difference. Huge difference. Yes. Oh my goodness.
You can't keep up with your high school books, but in order for you to graduate, I got to pay $100 and some odd just because you lost the book. Come on now. Wait a minute. No, I'm not doing that.
No.
What are you doing? Oh, well, mama gonna do it, grandma gonna do it, and all of that type of stuff. No.
Yep. That's when you start having. That's when the marriage start breaking down. When everybody else has got something to say, that mama listened to. Oh, well, so and so, but these ain't your kids.
Oh, that's the one right there. Oh, that's the one. You not my daddy. These ain't your kids. Wait a minute. We had to understand. So if you're not coming to the same understanding that we agreed to, then I don't need to be here. I'm not gonna be around no badass kids that I can't discipline. I don't play that.
Oh, step kids. I mean, that's a whole nother. That's like 300-400 more conversations about what a man should do when he got step kids involved, and when they little, it's worse.
Oh,
because you beyond temporary. Well, his dad. Take him over with his dad then.
Hello?
Y'all jumping ahead because I think this gonna fit really well if we talk about the post-divorce stage. Because how many dudes, and I've heard women tell me, he doesn't go see our kids, but he's a great stepdad to her kids. So there's a whole new dynamic for you guys that think, well, okay, my kids, blah blah blah. So hold that. I want to come back to that. I want to touch on one more thing here, though, in that early divorce stage. I do want to be fair to the 5 or 2 or maybe 50 ladies that watch this. Because Derek, you hit on it again earlier. Yeah, I'm being optimistic. And that is, a lot of you guys make it a resolve that just as you are going to have to be on top of your finances before you go through this divorce, you need to be that way, like I said originally, with having like a paper trail of what you do with your kids. Derek said it earlier. A lot of women are truly telling the truth when they talk about, my husband has no idea what's going on with these children, but he made them. And a lot of you guys, and I think you dealing with 3 men on this panel that you see, we ain't having that. I mean, y'all know my story. I homeschooled 4 of mine, didn't homeschool. That I got the idea of homeschooling even when I had my first, but he didn't live with me. And so, but I was like, why are you sitting around not doing anything during the summer? His mama didn't like that. But that was the thought, like, well, why don't I just start teaching them? And my other four came, bam. And there was never a doubt that if, first of all, if my first son's mom would have ever disappeared, day one, those kids, he would have been dropped off at my house. We would have went on ahead. He already had clothes there anyway. We would have been good without her. And because that's how it needed to be. And the same thing with my other four. If the mom would have just disappeared, God forbid something would have happened to her or whatever, it wouldn't have mattered because those other four, hey, the only thing we would have struggled with would have been daddy cooking. But otherwise, we would have worked through that. That would have been
I would have
it.
helped you out, Deb.
Thank you. I know. I would have had to call out, hey, we'd have did the Derek nutrition plan. We would have just went eating out a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But
my kids talk about me about that all day. Dad, I'm coming up. You cooking? You already know the answer. I got a grill for you, though.
There it is. Exactly. So guys, be on point with your game. This is one area you better start doing it now. And I'm going to tell you, before we go into this next segment, the game is easy for you. I'm going to tell you, I had to go to Derek in 2005 to learn how to fight in court for custody. Ooh. And at that time, it was a name change. I remember we were standing in the office talking outside. And this brother just took me to another level, and I'm so glad he did. But you guys got it easy. First, you're listening to this, like, subscribe, and share to some dudes that could get it and want to know it. But the other thing, you got the internet. Go on there and just go through the child support calculator and see how much you're going to be paying. You will have an idea. Now, that doesn't mean you get involved with your kids just so you don't pay child support. I'm not saying that, because that's what you should be doing as a dad. But a lot of you guys don't even have a clue. You don't even have a clue. So let's now go to the guy. The paperwork has been filed. Maybe we're going to go with statistics. She served him. Let me say on the statistic on here, approximately 91% of cases, custody is agreed upon by both parents without court litigation, typically favoring the mother. Only about 4% of fathers initiate court fights over custody. Alarmingly, so this is, around 27% of fathers do not stay involved with their children post-divorce. Now, I'm going to give my quick reason. I'd love for you guys to expound on it. One thing I'm learning, just like somebody said, women cheat better than men. I've never agreed with that dynamic because I think there are reasons. And this is where I think it involves as well with fighting for custody or in court. That's mentally taxing for a man. We don't do well with that mental fight. We'd rather fight physically, not fight mentally. So to think about having to go to court, argue with her, all that drama, dudes would rather just be like, you know what, I can make some more somewhere else and step. And so I'm not going to talk about the Rollos because we know the Rollos are out there. That'd be like me talking about only the brothers that thug, rob, and steal as, they are the ones that represent of all black men. No, there's a reason why everybody does what they do, and I'm not going to defend just goofy behavior. But there are reasons on why a lot of guys do say I'm not going to fight because we don't know how to fight, and it's easier to give up that fight. And sometimes men just say, hey, I'll catch them when they get to be 20, 25, and then I'll tell them how their mama didn't give them letters, etc. So for those guys that now are they're in that process, maybe they have a court date coming up in 6 months or so. We'll start with you, Eddie. What would you start telling him? Say, hey man, you got this court date coming up. What advice would you give him on as far as it pertains to the kids?
Well, the advice, if you don't already have that relationship with your children, it's not much advice that I can give you as far as the court, because I didn't go through the court thing. So you got to excuse me on that one. I'm the one that filed for divorce. So that issue I didn't go through, but I know a lot of my friends did go through it. And the advice that I gave them was get an attorney, number one, do your research, number two, and stash away as much money as you possibly can. So those were the three pieces of advice that I gave my friends and family that were going through that type of stuff, because you're not going to know everything when you're going into the court. You're not an attorney. So you got to have somebody to represent you, and you got to be somewhat knowledgeable. You got to do some of the research yourself too, because you just can't depend on an attorney, because that's how they make their money. So the attorney's there to get their money. So you got to come in there somewhat knowledgeable. Even though you do have an attorney and everything, I advise getting an attorney, but you still have to do some research on your own and see where you stand and hide your money.
Sure.
Good stuff.
Oh yeah. Now, when you're talking about the kids and those that are going in there, Dev, you talked about a couple of things there when you said that 20 was the statistic 27% of them don't.
Yep.
Okay, so one of the things that I think may contribute to that is not a matter of I don't want to deal with the stress per se. They don't know how to deal with their children.
Yes.
And so it's easier to just say, well, it is what it is. It's better to pay for. I know people that have literally, you know what? I don't want to deal with none of this. I'm going to just give you money. How much I got to give you right now and be done with both of y'all. I've known something like that, right? And they didn't grow up that way. But, you know, so it's like, okay, you got those folks to do those types of things. But if you want to be involved with your children, only thing stopping you is yourself. Just do it. You know, you got parent-teacher conference. You can add your name to that contact list.
That's right.
You can go down to the if you got the insurance, you know who's what. You got apps for everything nowadays.
Yep.
Log in.
Right.
My chart, my account, my health, my whatever, my. Log in. Look at it. Figure it out. Right. So, and here's a catch. You got everything in the world at your fingertips. Write it down. Screenshot it. Make a folder called children. 1, children 2, child 1, 2, 3, whatever. Name it. Be a little bit more personal. But go ahead and track the stuff. We track everything else. Like Dev said, we track the health. We track if you out there with women, you track that. You got the sports thing. Track your children. You know what I mean? Put all that stuff down there.
And you're tapping away on that video game. Right. You're looking at all these videos and all of that type of stuff. That you can do the same thing with your kid. Your child will be sitting right there tapping away with you. You know, that's how I built some of the relationship with my son. He tapped away with me. We went to the things, the car shows, this, that, and the other. And it's just about making sure you have that relationship with your child. Because trust and believe. Trust and believe, because that mother or that significant other is going to be in the background. She might not be saying it direct, but she going to be on the phone talking to Spoozy and Juicies and all the rest of them. And that child going to be sitting up there listening to it, and you can't defend it. So that's why I say you gotta have that relationship with your child. You can't overshadow that, or you're going to be a Pookie in a Ray Ray.
Well, we got to talk about something here though that's real, and this is current. What about those fathers? Since we're talking about men who are actually stepfathers going through a divorce, because that was me.
Wow.
You know, I had as I had mentioned before, I'm gonna keep it real. My ex-wife left me because I couldn't maintain her lifestyle, even though I was working 5 jobs. So let's go figure that out. But and she said to me, when I walk out that door, you don't get a chance to see these kids again. It's a package deal. But here's the catch. To this day, we've been divorced for 14 years. She made that statement and told me if I did, she's gonna report me to the police. I hate to say this, for child. And I said, based on what? Because you take pictures. And I said, you know, I don't do nothing with children, ever. She says, do you think the police will matter? Do you think it's gonna matter when you go looking for a job and they pull that up that you are caught as suspicious of this? I said, you are supposed to be looking out for my well-being, and I've always looked out for yours. And this is how you want to treat me because you don't want me seeing the kids I raised for these 10 plus years that's calling me daddy, and they come to me for these things. And man, what could I do? I'm stuck. But today, and I'm saying this because to this day, she got a relationship with my kids, and I have zero with hers because I don't do that. I'm like, why would I say something like that? You legitimately have a relationship. Just because you and I didn't work out, they ain't got nothing to do with these kids. Nothing.
Okay, this goes again. I have to say this on this topic. I'm gonna have a T-shirt made. This is an Iron Father statement. I haven't heard this said anywhere, although the concept has been around. But seriously, children see the father through the lens and eyes of the mother, and it's like no matter how many ways we try to slice that, Derek, you nailed it. no matter what, she made sure it's like, nope, these are the glasses I want them to look through. Whether that's
The
accurate or not,
paradigms.
it don't
Rose
matter.
color.
Yep,
Yep.
exactly. It don't matter what you're doing, because it's almost like, really that last purge. I think when the way they got people to purge, they put the contacts in there. So at first their behavior is like, yeah, we all cool, we good. Hey, I want to purge. All right, cool. And they're like, okay, so before the purge begins, put these contacts in. And as soon as they put them in, their eyes started changing, and now they want to go and kill each other. And that's kind of what exactly happens in these situations. Man, I'm so glad you said that, because again, I don't think guys understand that concept until a divorce takes place. Because as long as they off working, like we said, they playing their video games, they doing whatever, everything is good. Because mom is probably pretty pissed off that she does a whole lot around the house. He may not be helping. Now granted, if she working 20 hours and he working 40. I ain't hearing that mess, ladies. But if she working 40, he working 40, she doing everything, she's upset, then the divorce takes place, you realize how fast those kids align with mom. And Eddie, you said it. They talking about you without ever mentioning your name.
Yep.
We would do such and such, but your father, or the classic one I always talk about. Oh, what's wrong? What's wrong? Nothing, just, it's just me and your dad having a hard time right now, with things.
Right.
Hey, you can't pull that card, bruh. You can't
Yep.
pull that card, because not only will the court say, hey, you a man, go out and do, your kids are growing up with that same mentality where dad's a man. So no matter what happened, you as a man in your house, even with your own children, will not and cannot be a victim. And I don't care what you're going through. Nobody's gonna see you as the victim. And your ex-wife certainly ain't your soon-to-be ex-wife ain't gonna see you that way.
No.
And when you go to court in 6 months, you better not even think you're going to go in there and act like you a victim, because the court is going to put their foot where the sun don't shine.
For sure. I mean, it's tough out there, but again, I don't want us to lose sight that there are some stepfathers out there that try to step up and take care of those kids, and they get dealt worse than a biological parent, because they really have zero to say, even though they may have raised those kids from the little one all the way up, or whatever the case may be. They have nothing to say. Nothing to say.
And good. I'm glad. Let's keep taking us there, because I think that takes us perfectly to the post-divorce stage now. For the guy that now he's divorced, he started a new relationship. If he's over 50, let's say he does what most of us kind of wanted to do. You go get with that 35-year-old and you 55. And she got a 5-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 10-year-old. So he walks in where he got some years that he could do time.
Look.
Yeah. Hey.
What? You know what? I'm gonna talk about my son. I'm gonna talk about my son in this situation, and what drives me crazy, because he has 2 kids of his own with the woman, and she's already had a child, and the father is in the oldest child's life. But the part that really pisses me off is my son does everything for this child. He does everything 24/7. He's there doing everything. But when it comes to my grandchildren, he does nothing.
His own kids?
No. Okay, we're talking about the baby daddy,
right?
The baby dad, the oldest child's father.
Okay.
So he sees the son, he takes care of him, he does his thing. But my son is there 24/7 when he's only there every other day, not even every other day, once a week. And, he's taking care of his son. But my son is taking care of him 6 other days out the week. But my son has 2 other children, and they don't reap any benefits whatsoever, which he shouldn't, because those are not his kids. But I don't think it's fair that my son has to front the bill for his son, and he won't even send my grandchildren a happy birthday.
Wait. Maybe I misunderstand how this dynamic is. Your son is married to the wife.
Well, they're together,
Okay. He got a woman.
Yeah.
He got 2 kids by.
Yes.
And she has another kid by somebody else.
Yes. Before he got with her. Yes.
But this guy, not to give him the finger or nothing, this guy is taking care of his kid, but not your other 2.
Well, he barely takes care of his child. Put it that way.
Okay.
he barely takes care of his child.
Right.
So everything that child needs, my son takes care of it. So everything that he's lacking on, my son takes up the slack.
Okay. So
And go ahead.
what's your you upset because the baby daddy number one, I'm gonna call him number one because it was first.
Yep.
Ain't doing enough for his own, and your other ones are suffering because of it.
Well, that's the way I look at it, because I figured, doggone, if my son can go buy, let's say, a remote control car, instead of him just buying it, one remote control car for my grandkids, he got to make sure that his son has one and that he's able to do all of this type of stuff. And
I'm gonna be real with you, Eddie. I love you like a brother. We don't know each other as long, but so how long he been with this woman?
About 5 years now.
So, and they got 2 kids under 5.
Yes.
Is he planning on marrying her?
No, I hope not.
Okay, your belief. So my question is, why your son doing it anyway?
I was going to ask that same question.
Hey, because he listened to some things, but he didn't listen to everything.
Okay.
So I got to accept his choices. Those were his choices, so I got to accept them. Now, some of the choices he makes me angry. I'm just speaking on that choice right there because I never would have put myself in that situation.
Right.
Never
so
would
now,
have put myself in that situation.
After 5 years, you got to have this conversation with him. What do you want from her?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because she got that other kid, and it's a package deal. If he left her, now she's gonna have 3 kids, and somebody got to do the same thing for her.
Yes.
So he's got to turn around and say, you know what? I haven't married her or made that step for a reason. Why am I still around for another season? And he needs to exit and take his 2 kids and do what he needs to do just for his 2 kids and be like to the other one, go see what a real daddy ain't doing. Bring him on next week. We'll talk to him.
Yeah, there you go.
hey, I'm gonna tell you something, Derek. Devin and I sat down in my basement. We had a long conversation with that fella. Devin, do you remember that?
I remember.
So, hey, as a father, you have to respect your son's choice as a man. Just like Devin said before, I thought, what you going over there with that girl for? Why you going over there doing that? Why you gotta respect them.
You know, okay, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. Do you ever ask them, you know the definition of a simp?
Yep.
You show a mirror.
You see you look it up and you Google it and you see my son's picture. Right next to my little brother.
And you know what? Let me put it in perspective. My son had one with 2 kids.
Okay.
And he had one and they didn't have none together. And I was like, he was like, well, you know what? I don't have to make that. Those ain't my kids. You with her, aren't you?
Yep.
Your decision. And you the head of the household, right? You paying the bills, right? You taking care of them anyway. You might as well have some say-so in it. But,
But you just touched on you said exactly what I wanted to say. He's not doing it the right way. He's being nice with it, and he's not really putting his foot down. And I think it's today's society with these children coming up like this, man. So you can teach them, you can mold them, you can pound them into them. But the way today's society is, they think this is normal. This is okay.
Well,
and just like Devin said, I don't want him to go to court and have to fight and sign them papers. So don't even think about it. You put that ring, you get your little fake ring out the bubblegum machine, you put that on her finger, and you're gonna have a wedding in my backyard.
Yes.
You don't sign not a piece of paper. We can call it a jump the broom like down south. Ain't no paper sign.
But you know what's crazy? Now I don't know the law on this one. This would be one I have to look up. But and then this kind of touches on some stuff you said, Derek. It's like after a dude been with a woman for an awful long time, legally he doesn't have any obligation to take care of somebody else's kids. However,
are they living together?
Right, and that's what I was going to say. If they are now starting to get stuff together, he's still investing, because I bet you when he bought beds, he bought bunk beds. I'm just giving that as an example. Let's say if it's 3 kids in the house, because I'm sure. I'm not in your case. I'm just saying in general with guys in this case.
Yeah.
Every single thing he does, from the car he drives to the car he helps her drive and pay for, to the house, to everything is based on 3 kids, even though maybe 2 are his, or for the guys that 1 is his, because these other kids, because when they go and he's making plans with this chick and they having pillow talk in that post-orgasmic phase, and she's like, I love you. And he's like, girl, I love you too. And she's like, you know, the kids do need such and such. When he goes on vacation, I bet you he just don't take his kids on vacation. I bet you he takes hers too. So it's like dudes are constantly investing, and when they break up, she's gonna still be expecting some investment in there. And if they're gonna fight over stuff, she's gonna be like, oh, this is the standard, this is what we've been doing. He got the money to do it, and then he gonna be mad, but he been investing all of this with somebody else's kid. And I'm old school. I'm old school. I'm so old school, I'm biblical old school. If I'm like a doggone Jewish person from the seed of Abraham, if they are not in my bloodline, I don't owe them jack diddly squat. I'll graft them in the book of Romans. I ain't grafting them in the book of Genesis. You got to be on my bloodline to get to the Messiah. So,
Devin, you are 100% right. 100%.
Yes.
He went and bought a SUV to haul the kids around. I got a Mustang sitting in the backyard right now that he can have, because you know we car dudes. Mustang sitting back there. Oh well, I can't take the whole family out in the Mustang.
There you go.
What? What? Oh, okay, all right. So I just sit there, and anybody looking to buy a '96 Mustang GT, just hit me up.
now, let me make sure I go back a little bit. I'm saying this from a perspective of I raised 4 kids that were not mine. So I know as much as I have, man, them was my kids. Let me say that. 100% every day, my kids. But you know how that made me feel when that day came around, she said, you no longer can see them. And it's like, we talk about post-divorce, but you got to have that reality that you're not their father, unfortunately. And she is in control of that. You're not. Regardless of your best, you can't take them to court. You have no rights.
Yes.
0.
Yes.
So I'm saying, in retrospect, I wouldn't have never gotten involved with somebody with especially 4 kids. I can accept 1, 2 at the extreme most. More than that, girl, look, Wednesdays are open. That's about all I got. That's about all I got.
So thank you, Derek. That leads us, I think, let's continue. If on this dating side, then a guy is now divorced, knowing what you know now, what questions would you say he needs to ask himself if he meets that woman? Because you know the woman, I mean, you know these ladies, they got kids and they want a dude, because I mean it's hard for them to go on and get dug out with children. So they would rather have one dude that's gonna come lay the pipe on a regular basis than for them to have to go ahead and dig in the pipeline with randoms constantly. Because you know she don't feel as good about herself if she has to do that. So she wants that one guy. She wants the guy she can be committed to. So what would you tell him? What questions would you have that dude ask himself before he sets himself up to be a stepdad post-divorce?
Kids' ages make a difference, a huge difference. My thoughts are, if they're a teenager, 13, 14 minimally. Why? Because mama can leave and kids still okay overnight.
Yep.
Right?
Right.
So
Yep.
that's good there, because now you can truly accept. Because here's the deal. Let's be realistic. I'm not looking to be with a woman that's got kids and starting a relationship with the kids right off rip. When they're at an age of that age, 13, teenage age, I don't have to see them for 6 months, a year. But if they're younger, I have to see them a little sooner, because if I want to spend more time with her, that means I have to spend time with them. And hey, I'm talking to you all. I've said it before. A season for me is 1 full year. We're going to make some different decisions after a full year, and I see what kind of cycles you go through mentally throughout the years, and if you truly on a rebound situation, and then we go from there. But that doesn't mean we're going to be committed. That just means we need to look at things differently. But kids that are younger, and if you got your own, now if you got your own and they're at the same age, they grow up the same, and that makes that little that interaction a lot more smoother, because they're doing the same things. Especially if they're in the same schools and all that.
Yeah.
It varies because of the children's ages, and it varies based on what your kids are and your level of involvement in your own kids. I don't want no. I've heard women say, "I don't want no men that's got kids,"
That's
but
what
they
I've
got
heard
2 or
too.
3 themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Make it make sense.
Hey,
And
but I didn't touch on what you said about the age. That's one of the key important factors is age. Because like you said, they can stay at home. I like to go places and do stuff. And sometimes I might be out 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And I don't want to have to get home because you got to go to take the kid to this and take the kid to that. Look, we over 50. Okay. We over 50. That should be done and over with. Now, so if you over 50,
I'll add something to this. Go ahead.
so if you over 50 and you got a child that's still in elementary or middle school age, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to deal with you. And number 2 is you got to have availability for me. Because kids take away a lot of availability. And to me, it's not even worth being bothered with a woman and kids that's that young. I'm gonna give you a perfect example.
Okay.
I was dealing with a chick and she was watching her granddaughter. And she had a granddaughter over and she's playing, with my little nieces and stuff. And okay, fine. Now me and her go back there. We start doing our little thing. They come bust the room door open. They want to sit in my lap and talk to me. No, y'all can't sit in my lap right now. And she's sitting there like, oh, isn't that cute? No, it's not cute. Get them out of here because Mr. Homeboy is awake right now. So you need to get these jokers up out of here. That's a bad experience. So I never want to mess with a chick that got a kid that can't watch themselves. Under 14 is my limit.
Yeah.
Well, here's one for you. Big Daddy Eddie, I need a babysitter so I can come over and see you on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday or whatever. Can you take care of a babysitter for me?
What your mama say? What the baby daddy say? That's my first question. Where your mama at? What the kids' baby? Where they daddy at? No, I can't do none of that. Hell, if I want to send you an Uber to pick you up, I damn sure ain't gonna send you no babysitting money.
But we talk about post divorce, right?
Yep.
And we also talked about simps. And I didn't say my son, but we also talked about simps.
And let's be truthful. Out of the 3 of us, at the ages we are, how many times have we all been a simp?
Absolutely. That's why I'm here. Because
So this is a matter of right.
Hold on, I gotta show my feet.
This is a situation where we've all been there, and we're showing, hey, that simp mentality is gonna come back to bite you, and it's gonna hurt.
And it's gotta die. It's gotta die. I don't know who started the simp mentality. I guess it was the younger versions of ourselves. Because
if you think about it, was Adam, wasn't he? Oh, baby girl,
you can lie. We're gonna really go back.
Oh yeah, definitely. Where you started Bible verses, he should never been. We never should have been that.
That's right. I ain't eating that fruit, girl. You did that. I ain't eating that. That's no problem. Kill her, Lord, kill her. We'll start all over.
Listen to me.
Hey, I see these grapes over here. Lord didn't say nothing about these grapes.
Exactly.
Nothing about these grapes. I'm going over here with these grapes. You
right. He got some grapes.
Exactly. I'm gonna chime in, man. I think it's 2 things when y'all talk about the kids' age. I think in my experience, I think also maturity is a big part of it too. I think that the ladies I've known with kids, I've come across. I think my personality. I always say I don't like kids, and I've always worked with kids, but I like mature kids. Because I've met some 12-year-old mature kids, I've met some 20-year-old very immature kids. So I think what I found I've clicked with the most is that the ladies that have very mature acting children, man, we hit it off like it was nothing because I'm going to be me. And I found what it was. I wasn't a stepdad or even in that role. I'm just me. The same way I deal with my nieces and nephews, I can joke around and deal with them and let an OG put them up on some game when we talking and they like, oh, yeah, okay. And I got some kids on my IG with some women that I talked to in the past. Sometimes these kids are still DM me and it's been years. And it's like, oh, well, that's cool. And then I think that there's also, it depends on the maturity level, because a lot of times because now I don't want to have to go into daddy mode. You know, that's your kid and that's your husband, your ex-husband's kid. And so anything, if I got to almost get that tone, y'all know that tone I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When that kid come out and I'm looking at him like, or I'm looking at her like, then, you know, I wouldn't let that girl do such and such, but
Right.
it's your business. When I have to go get that tone, that lets me know that there needs to be distance. Which I got to ask about this. And let's go for about 15 more minutes. Speaking of that distance and that disciplinarian side, post-divorce, you dating a girl, she got kids. When do y'all meet, or do y'all initiate a meeting with the father of the children?
I'm gonna take that one. I'm gonna take that one right there. Let me take that one.
Go ahead, bro.
First of all, I don't want to see the dude that she been boning before I bone. First of all, I don't want to talk to him. I nothing I got to say to him. Nothing like
what?
that. Huh? But
I'm like, yeah, why?
What purpose is? I don't need to have a conversation. He got his little brat running around.
Y'all gonna swap notes?
I'm not swapping that. I ain't got nothing to say to that dude. I'm the 2.0. I'm a new version. Okay.
Hello.
So it's no.
Oh, I need to go back to the trash and see what I threw away. No, I'm good.
Yeah, no, it's no purpose for me to talk to somebody that she didn't want to be with. Because actually, if you be with him, she done told you everything about him anyway. Social security number, mother's maiden name, what color ice cream cone he like, all types of stuff like that. So there's no purpose for me to meet them unless, like Derek said, we have this mutual agreement. Your child be out of control, then you're gonna get dealt with. That's the only time. But other than that, because there's always some drama with the baby daddy saying he want to meet you for what? I don't need to meet you. Get away from me.
Right. But here's the thing, though. We didn't talk about if we got a relationship such that we move into a point of being married or even living together. If we just date,
no, that's different. That's different.
Yeah, for sure. Now we need to have a conversation because it's going to be 3 parents involved, if not 4. So that's different. But if we just kick it in and you come in here on Wednesday, oh no. I don't even need to know his name. Now, look, I may need to know a picture because I gotta look behind my back.
I was just gonna say that's why I want to know his name.
That's it.
She gonna show you all that. She gonna show you all the stuff that look what we used to do. You see that? Yep, got him.
Yep, that's all I need.
But
I need to watch my back.
I think both of y'all hit on it though, because I think you're right. I think we probably all agree. If it's marriage situation, then that's a different story. But isn't it interesting that even a lot of times in the dating stage, especially as that chick really starts digging you, and let's say you truly are the only one, then it's amazing and how, and you almost see it coming. It's like, no, it ain't gonna be no drama starting with me and this dude, because you almost see them gravitating toward. Well, I want y'all to meet for what? For what? I ain't got no beef with this guy.
Yeah, I have to say, in all my time of being single, I have never, ever had somebody say you need to meet the kid's father. I do, because I'm gonna tell you, if a chick that I'm just talking to and just whatever, and I said, my first thought is, what are you trying to get me to see about him? You trying to make him jealous. It ain't about me. It's about him. I don't play them.
Yeah, thank you.
You ain't done with him yet. Because I ain't in the picture with this dude. I'm in it to do, and I'm out.
Well, hold on. I've had a father say he wanted to meet me.
Well, tell him too bad.
And that's exactly what was said.
Good luck. Good luck.
I'm not here for your wishes and desires. We don't go that route.
Yep.
I'm talking to her. Even if she want to see it.
But I do know some dudes that I'm not going to say they were at the married stage, but we'll say they were dating longer than 6 months, maybe even a year. And they started talking about meeting the father. And it was like,
that's when you meet the kids.
Yeah.
You ain't lying.
Yeah.
Well, no, they were already living together by that point. What are you talking about?
Well, they rushing already then.
Yeah, that's too fast. That's too quick.
Yeah.
No.
Been there, done that.
Yep.
But I think
that season.
I think that's that it almost, again, I talk all the time about people dating at 50 like they did at 15. You guys are going to run across some women at 50 plus they are still trying to get some stuff started. Whether it's make you jealous, maybe they're gonna be telling you something a little bit about their ex. Oh, he comes around sometimes, and sometimes he drive past the house for no reason. Well, I've heard some real goofy stories, even stuff that my boys have just told me.
That's drama.
It was
That's
and
drama.
right, and it's like you got to be able to separate that. I talk about having your program or what you want to do. What do you want this woman to do? Where do you want her to be? And you realize, as always, I don't even want my woman getting mad about her ex. What's another man getting that kind of energy for out of her?
Hey,
Thank you.
Good point. Excellent point.
So if you talking to a girl and she my ex, hey, we already go. Then you might want to go holler at him because
he called me today and was talking all this mess about I need to do.
Oh, but this the one right here. This the one that kills me right here. You know what? My ex used to do the same thing. I said, really? Well, you know what? If you make bad decisions, then you give somebody else to do the same thing.
Yep.
So don't blame me. Yeah, don't blame me. Oh, of course, you know what it was, a Wednesday. you know what a Wednesday means.
She didn't even get Friday, Saturday time, huh?
It was a Wednesday. And take a shower first.
We talked about that.
Hello.
Hey, that goes back to that Reddit post.
Don't forget that shot.
We went back to that Reddit post. That's the part I didn't read. That's why old boy wasn't going down anymore. She was like, "Do I smell? Is that why you won't go down the
But now I got to bring something back around though. When we talk about post-divorce and checking out women with kids, here's one for you. Oh, well, my 23-year-old lives in a basement.
Oh, boy. What?
Great point.
Got to be careful because the old saying is, I want a man like this, but you ain't teaching none. So you ain't teaching responsibility to your kids. How you looking for me to do something and you're in charge of that?
That's her husband's son. You forget that's her husband's son. So when you only call her on Wednesday, the husband's son's down in the basement the rest of the week. Yes. So she can pick a fight and be emotional or argue with him.
Yep.
So she can argue and stuff like that. That's the husband's son. I've been through that scenario before too.
Yes.
Man.
Well, we got to go out. Well, I got to make sure I bring him something back to eat. This joker is doggone 23 years old. And I'm not bringing him nothing back.
Hey.
Oh, I'm going to pay for it. He's hungry. Ain't nothing at the house.
Where's his job? So for me, it's like, you know what? I don't come over another man's house to see his woman. He's my son, but he's an adult, ain't he? Yeah. He's the man of the house, ain't he?
Yes.
Where's his woman at? Where's his woman?
That too.
Where's his
woman? And you walk down, and you know what? I used to hate going by her house because as soon as you walk in the door, a waft of weed. Just go waft of marijuana and that rap music playing, it drove me up a wall. Up a wall. So I said, no, I won't be coming by here anymore. So Wednesday, 6:30, show up, take a shower, then be gone by 10:18.
You know, and that's on point too, because I thought about the availability as well. When a woman says, "Oh, you too broke to date me, y'all, you don't have the money, you can't afford to date me," it's a lot of women, they don't have the availability to be out here dating. Go home and take care of your kids. Just go ahead and step on out the dating pool for another 5-10 years then. Or you just be a Wednesday girl. Just accept your Wednesday slot and be cool with it. Because you don't have time to be out here dating because Derek, you hit it. You still got your 25, 30-year-old, because again, we over 50, so it ain't even uncommon to find a 30-year-old dude or daughter still staying at the house. And you don't want a dude over there with your daughter at the house and whatever. So that's a whole other issue.
Yeah, please don't have me over there.
Well, I was going to say,
she's 35 years old, daughter walking around there. Hey, I might figure something out. Might get figured out.
It's better you be like, that's how you used to look? Okay.
I thought we supposed to be meeting on Wednesday. When I came to your house, where you at?
Exactly. So, but you got the woman may have her kids still living around there or the grandkids. You still going out, you got to take the grandkids out. Over 50, that's one of the things about being a parent. You get divorced, or even if you and your wife still together.
Want my freedom.
You got your freedom.
Yes.
Why are you going? You get out of your one marriage for whatever reason, and then you walk into a step, but not even a step situation, a dating situation,
Right.
and you
Right.
still depending on. Well, we can't go out of town because she can't get a babysitter.
Oh,
I can't go
well, you know
nowhere
what?
because she can't this and that and the third, and she always got the kids.
Let me drop this bomb. We have yet to talk about women that have pets. And they are just like little children where you got to house them up. I got to get home because of the animal. Can I bring my dog over? And I'm not an animal person.
Right.
Can you pay for a sitter?
Hey, I'm an animal person. I love animals. I love to eat them. I love to hunt them. I love to shoot them. So I told him, yes, bring your animal over. I'm going to have fun shooting your animal.
Go be put it on the wall.
No, I'm not talking about with a firearm. I'm rubber band hunting. Yeah, bring your cat over there.
Hey, you know I'm gonna have some fun with some cats. That's me. I'm gonna cut your cat
brother,
whiskers.
you know how we came up, man. Hey, Peter, please don't do that. We are not torturing these animals.
I just have fun with animals.
We're having fun with them.
No, you're right, Derek. You're exactly right because I mean that is was it the old Kevin Samuels thing? Buy a dog and die alone. A lot of women are in that transition where they ain't alone. They still trying to hold on and date, but that dog plays a major role in their life. And again,
cats too. Don't forget about the cats.
I kind of like cats, but you can at least leave a cat in the house.
This is true. You can leave a cat.
Yeah.
With that dog, like you say, they got. And then like I wouldn't be one that's worried. I never liked dogs because I wasn't gonna have somebody stay at my house to watch my dog. But I know that's what a lot of people do. So if that's your thing, do it. But again, if I'm dating you, that ain't my problem. My job is to eliminate as many problems, or we'll say conflicts in my life as possible. If that's your problem, you deal with it. It ain't our problem.
Yes.
I try not to have problems. I try to come up with solutions.
Oh my goodness. Hello.
I had a deal breaker I had to make a deal breaker, whereas your animal cannot sleep in the same bed as we do.
Oh Lord.
Man, that's the ultimate.
Why do we have to have an
animal? What's going on?
You're gonna hear a dog go, I'm like, oh dang, baby. I thought that was you.
Exactly.
Well, that's why
that doesn't make any sense.
That's why we broke up. She had this Labrador, this golden Labrador with a big old giant pink nose. And this animal will come in between us in the bed and get in between us. So just one night, I just happened to flip the sheets up and knock the dog off onto the floor. And you did that to my dog, and I can't believe that. I said, well, you know what? And needless to say, that was the last time I seen him.
Wow.
Yeah,
I get so far I've been fortunate. I mean,
Peter, his name is Eddie.
Right.
Exactly. And she had carpet. It was
there you go. It was a soft landing.
After he hit the ceiling and the side wall, he hit the carpet.
Exactly.
He spun around the ceiling fan.
Thankfully, I am allergic to dogs, or a lot of dogs I'm allergic to. So that definitely helps. Like any woman I'm talking to knows it's like, hey, you better put your dog up because, I'm not going to be able to breathe or whatever.
Same way.
Thankfully, also, my girl got a dog. I like the dog. Dog is cool, but I can only be exposed to the dog for so long. And I'm like, I could dig this dog. However, I'm not that much of a dog lover. And you see sometimes that would be on dating profiles. Women to say, you must be a dog lover. I guess I'm gonna put on there. I must be a car. You must be a car lover. I mean, how much sense does that make?
That's your dog.
I ain't dating the dog. If I was, you'd have some more problems on your hands.
You will be calling Peter.
Hey, that allergic deafness brings me up to one of our old friends. He used to go to, everybody knows White Castles and stuff. They grill their burgers in onions. This guy said, I cannot have onions. I am definitely allergic. I will die. And we were like, wow, man, we didn't know you was that allergic to onions. He said, no, I'm not. I just don't like them.
Good, right. He knew if he said it that extreme, they were making sure they didn't put onions on his.
Exactly. He's like, no, I just don't like onions. Same thing with some of those animals. No, I'm definitely allergic. I can't do it. And I'm allergic to stupidity also. That really breaks me out in the hive.
Yes, indeed. Man, oh, man.
All right, y'all. As we close out, Derek, we'll start with you. Any final words overall? Dealing with children in those three phases. Any final words you would like to throw out there to the
Yes,
fellas
yes,
after
indeed.
50?
Definitely be there for your own kids because they're your legacy, like you said before. And don't be so quick to take on somebody else's because they can be taken away from you at a drop of a dime. You don't need that emotional attachment when you're trying to find your own. Peace is peace.
Good stuff. Eddie, how about you?
Hey, I'm just gonna touch on and piggyback off of Derek. You get yourself emotionally involved with other people's children, it's gonna hurt when they leave your life. Don't think you're Iron Man that you're gonna be able to stand it. It's gonna hurt because you've seen those kids go through times and stuff in their life that the other parent wasn't there to see. And when they cut you off like that, it hurts. So my best advice is don't even get involved in the first place, or you're gonna end up hurt.
No, you're getting a divorce for a reason. You're gonna wind up getting yourself all hurt all over again. Take it from the Simp Anonymous class here that you know we've been there.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're speaking on experience.
Yes.
Except.
Yes. Is that right? Is that we are?
Except.
Exactly. You know, thanks y'all. You know, I'm just going to talk a little bit on the logistics side. You know, everything they said, you aren't an Iron Man. I want you to be an Iron Father, though. And that's because we didn't learn the hard way. It's because we've been in the fire and it made us hard because we know what's out here and we know what you guys are going to end up facing. And again, I know a lot of you guys have no clue. So I'm just going to say as an overview, logistically, if you are in that process, your marriage is kind of rocky, believe me, build that solid relationship with your kids. And of course, if you already have one, you need to now make sure it's a solid one mentally. Because if it's maxed out at 100, it's going to be like your stinking paycheck and net wealth. It's going to be reduced by at least 50%. So your mental relationship with your kids is going to be reduced because they're going half of them goes with mama. Actually, the majority of them, if you want the truth, goes with mama. Because remember, your kids see through the lens of the mother, not through reality. Number two, if you are already going through that divorce, you know that date is coming. Make sure you have your ducks in a row, be able to qualify and quantify what you actually do in your kid's life, that you do know the doctors, you do know the teachers, and that, yes, you have no problem paying. Next time, maybe we'll do a show on custodial and non-custodial parenting because there is a huge difference, and we'll talk about that. But you want to have things as close to 50-50 as possible. Don't run. Do not run. Fight to stay in your kid's life. And we didn't touch on it, but I have to mention it. 2 divorce attorneys told me, and this is sad, and nobody wants to talk about it, but Derek hit on it. Do you know 2 divorce attorneys said, with their advice to me, when it was like, all right, papers are done, divorce is now, the process is underway, first thing they said is, don't let a DV get put up on you. And that is a domestic violence charge. Because they knew, one was a female attorney, the other one was a male attorney. They knew that as a man going through divorce, especially if you are the one filing, that woman will be willing to pull about anything. And as Derek said, her mentality is, who you think they gonna believe? And she knows that. And so make sure you got that covered. And the last one, of course, is post-divorce. I'm so glad I didn't even plan to go the step parenting route. Thank you, Derek. Because really, a lot of you guys, you have not even figured out how you want to handle things with your own kids, let alone you're about to go start dating another woman and you're going to find yourself being daddy all over again. And I think you heard the stories here. If you think if you wasn't getting rewarded for the fathering job you did with your own, what in the world you think another woman, you think she going to be like, you know what, we broke up, but he's a good guy, I'm going to still go ahead. No, it's not going to happen. So understand, you better have your rules, not only for that woman, have your rules on what you're going to do as far as this is the age I'm willing to date a woman with kids. This is the amount of availability I'm willing to give her. And of course, if her kids don't fit my schedule, then she's maybe just a Wednesday girl. The main point is that you honest about her being a Wednesday girl. That way she don't run into one of us and think she should get Friday, Saturday, or Sunday time. She knows.
And honesty is extremely important, but you can't be honest with anybody but yourself first.
Yes. So thank y'all. Let's do this again. Couple weeks. I think I'm gonna try to set up to do a live with call-ins. I think we might have to try that. Because if we like kind of just spur of the moment, just taking things in on the fly, that might be a real test
Hey, I'm good with it. I
Seven
like on
guys
the
got
fly.
coming in.
All right, well, Eddie Vance is in the house. That's all I got to
There it
say.
is. All right, all right.
Get ready to get some. Okay, well, anyway, yeah.
I'm good with it.
The good part is I never have to edit these videos. So I think that's the best part. I think it would be easy to do because we do so well with just on the fly as we flow anyway. So that's the
I'm on my
best
best
part.
behavior. I'm on my best behavior. I haven't went to the bar yet.
Oh, all right. So if we did a live, you might go ahead and start reaching for some libations, and they'll be a little different.
Long as it's not on a Wednesday, we good.
All right, cool. Well,
That'll
fellas,
work. That'll work.
thank y'all as always. And until next time, again, y'all like, subscribe to the video. If you want to get your body in shape and you want to make that start, again, definitely let me know down in the comments below. Feel free to DM me as well. We can go ahead and get you started on your fitness routine, on your fitness plan. But remember, that's just one component of you recalibrating and getting the rest of you together, which is exactly what this discussion that we're having is about, getting all of you together. And the easy one actually to work on is your physical one, because you're going to realize it takes a whole lot to kind of go ahead and change things up here in that mind. So like and subscribe. Definitely, again, share the video with some guys that you know can benefit from it. And let us know if there's anything, any topics y'all want us to discover. Till next time, y'all. Peace.
All right. Peace.
Peace.